Perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
There's this whole, I talked with somebody once who said, if you just look at where the stars are in the sky, don't look at them as just random things. If you just look at them as points, look at the constellation, what does it show you? So you just outlined it, Roland. What does it show you?
Is there a sign in the heavens? What the heck is she talking about? This is the Vice President of the United States of America. Another disaster interview. And this going viral as Vice President Kamala Harris does another interview. This is not with The Breakfast Club or Charlemagne the God, where I think she sounded, at best, disingenuous when asked about pretty simple issues from callers and the hosts. But what's going on here with the vice president who's just out there and people saying, what is she talking about? First, I thought, okay, maybe she's into, she's a Scorpio. She's celebrating a big birthday. Her 60th birthday is this weekend. And is she talking about being a Scorpio, her sign, or something of that nature? Nope. Seriously, I listened in context. I know that, you can listen to a clip and say, well, it's taken out of context. I just have no idea sometimes what this woman is talking about, and that's why she's a danger. The more
I have the full context if you want.
Okay, let's listen to it.
I actually like it. Jamil Hill and I talked about it, but again, he's singling out cities where there are significant African Americans, and that's who he's talking about.
Yes.
Black people.
Yes.
Yes.
There's
you want
this
an answer here?
I talked with somebody once who said, if you just look at where the stars are in the sky, don't look at them as just random things. If you just look at them as points, look at the constellation, what does it show you? So you just outlined it, Roland. What does it show you?
What?
That the cities that he picks on in terms of black population or black mayor are both.
Oh.
Come on.
We're in North Carolina.
Come on,
Because Roland's like, back to reality. We are in North Carolina. We are not in space. We are not in the stars. I mean, to the host point, that was not an answer, but it was just bizarre. Look up to this. Does she sound high? I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. I don't want to make allegations or anything, but
at least that would make sense.
Well, it's like one of those stoner conversations where you pause for a while and you're like, dude, hold on, I got something coming to me. Here comes.
Toke.
Cities where there are significant African Americans, and that's who he's talking about.
Yes.
Black people.
Yes.
And here's her thoughts.
Yes.
Yep, gears are turning.
Yes.
There's this whole...
And the best thing she could come up with is constellations. Come on, Kamala.
And the way that she's blinking her eyes, and she goes like this, and she's, yes, and it's as if...
This question wasn't on the list.
It's just a blank, there's a blank screen, and yes, and then she sort of wipes her nose, and I talked to somebody once, she doesn't even know who she talked to. Because I think if somebody's talking about I don't know, if somebody's talking about the stars and how you can equate the stars, or it's biblical, following the stars and the wise men to Jesus. I mean, seriously, I just have no idea what the heck. But if somebody told me that I should look up to the stars and view them as the points and a greater meaning in life, I think I'd remember who that someone is, right? Is it your I don't know, your history teacher or your parent.
Someone
what?
she met at Wawa.
Somebody who you were toking with. I don't know what to say. It's maybe you can explain this 855-839-1210. But back here, in the world of reality, let's just think about what's going on. So the vice president is, where is she not reaching out to the stars today, but she will be reaching out to Republicans in purple or red, Bucks County. A lot of signs in Bucks. I don't know. Is it purple? Is it red? But she'll be in Bucks County today, Washington's Crossing. And she'll be with a group of never-Trumpers, most of these people's names have a former in front of it. Former New Jersey Governor Christine Todd Whitman, remember her? Former Representative Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, Barbara Comstock, and Denver Riggleman of Virginia. Do you know who these people are? Because these are the big guns. These are the celebrities. I'm sure everybody in Bucks County is clamoring to meet Chris Shays of Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
And Mickey Edwards of Oklahoma. I know that if you're in Bucks County today on this busy Wednesday, I'm sure you want to go meet Mickey. That's who's going to be.
Well,
that's who's campaigning.
Mickey Edwards, a great baseball Hall of Famer.
There you go.
Oh wait, does sound like a baseballer, doesn't he?
So these are all a former lieutenant governor from Georgia, whatever. So, and remember Liz Cheney, the former representative in Wyoming who couldn't even win a primary, daughter of Dick Cheney. So they're trying to make this symbolic, right? That it's near the site where George Washington, obviously crossed the Delaware River. We go there for those commemorations, right, Christmas Day and so on. And this is taking us back to the Revolutionary War. And they want this to be symbolic, right? That's why she's going to these places. And also it's Bucks County. So we'll see how she does there. What's going on in Georgia? We'll visit this with Michael Whatley. Locally, nationally, when we think about a third of a million voters already cast their ballots in Georgia. And this is also a storm-ravaged area. So does the storm, as the aftermath continues, nobody's talking about it. I update it every day for you as far as the death toll rising by the day and the number of dead that I saw at least 95 people just missing. Can you even imagine that? This is happening in America, more than 1 million people still without power across the 7 states. It's a horrific situation, 2 major hurricanes. So we'll update that with our friend Michael Whatley, who you know by now, and certainly we love his updates and appreciate him. And then what's going on here, what's going on in the South, and we'll give you the lowdown as far as where is Trump. We'll talk about where is Harris. J.D. Vance last night in Lafayette Hill in Montgomery County. And then, of course, the great debate, the last debate between, this is a huge race, as career politician and Democrat, Senator Bob Casey Jr., being challenged by Republican Dave McCormick. So we'll have some of those highlights for you as well. Thanks for being here today, 855-839-1210. A lot of breaking news. And by the way, you're not going to miss a thing with Trump on with Harris, a much higher quality Harris. I'm talking about Harris Faulkner of Fox. So we can't wait for that to begin at 11. And we'll take that. We'll dip into that as well. You won't miss a thing. Thanks for being here on The Dawn Show. Quick break. Michael Whatley on the other side. Be right back.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
The 2024 presidential election is here. With the race neck and neck and with so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis you need. Our reporters are on the ground, and we're breaking down the numbers until every last vote is counted, providing you with insight on what it all means for the future of our country. Watch coverage of the 2024 presidential election Tuesday, November 5th, and listen to MSNBC Live on the free Odyssey app or wherever you watch MSNBC.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Do you need to improve your smile? Get a dynamite smile with Lumineers. Make a great impression with friends, family, dates, and job interviews. Dr. Heinbaugh of American Dental Implant and Lumineers Center is the area's only certified Lumineers dentist. Don't have your teeth reduced with traditional veneers. Lumineers are the greatest development in dentistry today. No grinding shots or pain. Lumineers save tooth structure. Lumineers are patented and proprietary. Lumineers last many years with a track record of over 25 years and more. Don't hide your teeth. Show off your dynamite smile. Dr. Heinbaugh is thrilled with his Lumineers. Call today for your free consultation and Lumi Smile, a simulation of how you can have a beautiful smile. No more crooked yellow teeth spaces and many other conditions eliminated. Call American Dental Implant and Lumineers Center in Springfield, Pennsylvania, Delaware County. 610-543-0222. 610-543-0222. That's 610-543-0222.
I juggle a lot. And managing constipation with belly pain from my irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, with laxatives and fiber isn't enough. My doctor recommended a way to get ahead of it. Then I said yes to Linzess.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hey girl, it's your new night guy, Jimmy Fallon in the house from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and free on the Odyssey app.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Not yet. Do it today. Okay. At 1210 WPHT.
So Trump in the headlines, of course, this week, with many of you calling in about the great rally that you experienced here in Pennsylvania in Oaks at the Expo Center, which needs some new HVAC for sure, as that was an incredible example of media bias and just media malpractice, in my opinion. But we also want to talk about what's going on in Georgia, North Carolina, and the South, and the numbers, record numbers of voters, early voting in Georgia, with a little help from our friend Michael Whatley, chairperson of the Republican National Committee, checking in. Good morning, Michael.
It's good to be on with you.
It's great to be on with you. I do want to get to what's going on in Georgia, what's happening in Pennsylvania, and a lot of, as you know, everybody listening is anxious to know what is going to happen. And this is, in so many ways, no matter what side of the political aisle people are on, nobody really knows what's going to happen. So there's that going on. But for Trump supporters, and I will tell you, Michael, we were inundated yesterday with phone calls because this just phony story, this fake news, as you well know, and it was made national news, but it was right here. And this ridiculous narrative that continues to be carried out on some of our local media and national media, that somehow Trump had this moment of senility and was putting on a music concert, ended the great rally in Oaks, PA early. It was a lie. And we had multiple witnesses who were there. We've confirmed that was a big lie. Thankfully, ABC News was there and they did the right thing and said, no, people were having medical emergencies. It got hot and stuffy. And so Trump was compassionate to people. And so it's another example, though, of, unfortunately, the media being complicit with partisan politics with Democrats.
Yeah, look, the media is not going to be fair to Donald Trump. The media has never been fair to Donald Trump. They're never going to be fair to Donald Trump, which is why he, it's so important that he is that once-in-a-generation ability to go out and talk directly to the American voters. And it's so important that he does that. And I think that, we're going to continue to have him at events where he can talk directly to the people of Pennsylvania, but also all the other states, North Carolina and Georgia and Arizona and Nevada. He's doing a fantastic job right now of blanketing all of these states. And, we're seeing the same with J.D. Vance and all of the rest of the surrogates that are out there right now pounding to make sure that people understand that it's the time, and we're seeing right now early voting has started. Absentee ballot, mail-in ballot has already started in a lot of these battleground states. So we're in the maelstrom. We really are at this point in the middle of the voting cycle. And I'm really optimistic. I'm really upbeat. We look at voter registration numbers. We look at the early voting numbers, the mail-in voting numbers, who's requested them, who's returned them. We're all kind of, as you said, trying to read the tea leaves here and see, what is happening in real time. And what I do see so far, I really like. And I think that, President Trump has, managed to poll better in every one of these battleground states than he did in 2016 or 2020. And we're excited about the enthusiasm that we see on the ground. And we've got a lot of great supporting cast with our senators and our candidates for Senate. We're looking at Eric Hovde up in Wisconsin and Mike Rogers in Michigan and of course, Dave McCormick in Pennsylvania, Bernie Moreno over in Ohio, who are all doing absolutely great job kind of making sure that people understand how close they are to Donald Trump, but also that they're understanding the nuances, the importance, the issues in their respective states. So as we're heading into, these last 3 weeks, I really like where we're at, and I certainly am happier than Kamala's team is.
And that's what I see as well here. I just want to ask you about another race, and that is one that's not getting as many headlines as the challenge by Republican Dave McCormick, of course, a combat veteran and somebody who's a very successful businessman as well, born and raised here in Pennsylvania, against, really taking on a giant with a legacy name because of his dad, Bob Casey Jr. But the other case is this Pennsylvania 7th District, and that's Susan Wild, the incumbent, being challenged by Republican Ryan McKenzie. What do you see on that one as far as the House race that could predict? Some say that this race is the one that could predict the presidency.
I think that's right, and it's an important district. It's an important part of the state, and Ryan is doing an absolutely great job of making sure that he is introducing himself directly to those voters, and he's out there. We've got a couple pickup opportunities in Pennsylvania. We really need to expand that majority in the House. I've been working very closely with the Speaker, Mike Johnson, Richard Hudson, who runs the Congressional Committee for the House Republicans, and we're very optimistic, that when President Trump wins this thing, we're going to be able to pick up 10 or 15 additional seats. And we do have a few of them in Pennsylvania that we've got a really good opportunity for.
And so as far as storm ravage, the 7 states really, Florida, and I know in that would be North Carolina, South Carolina, how much of this storm and the recovery that, I got to tell you, Michael, I'm shocked that it does not get bigger headlines. Well, I shouldn't be shocked, but what people are dealing with that storm-ravaged area, the death toll expected to, every day it goes up, and we have nearly 100 people still missing. How much does the storm aftermath and Hurricanes Helene and Milton impact the vote?
Yeah, big kudos to the state legislature in Georgia and North Carolina, because they were able to kind of make sure that we have the voting systems are going to be in place for, all of the people in the western part of the state in North Carolina and all through the storm track. In Georgia, we've been working with the North Carolina party and the Georgia party. Right now, what we're seeing is thousands of families who've been displaced. We've seen counties that absolutely have been turned upside down, but power is beginning to come back on. We're seeing roads that are being cleared and are up and running. The Board of Elections and the legislature have assured us that they are going to have polling locations open. People are absolutely going to be able to vote. And so what we're doing right now is communicating with all of those families, all of those voters, and saying, here's how you vote, where you vote, and when you vote, just to make sure that they understand any changes that we've had to make. If, for example, if the precinct is, always at a school and that school has been destroyed, well, then we're going to have to find another place, to move the precinct. But I will tell you this, the people of North Carolina, the Western North Carolina, are absolutely ready to vote. They are excited about this election. They support Donald Trump, and it is going to take more than a storm to keep them from going and casting their votes.
There was a new study that came out of Arizona Christian University, said that millions of Christians, in particular evangelicals, are going to stay home and abstain from voting. That one took me by surprise. Are you looking at the Christian vote and in America, but as well, I would imagine the Bible vote and what that study is all about?
Yeah, we are. And it's been an interesting phenomenon because about half of evangelicals are not even registered to vote across the country. And so we've had a lot of effort to try and reach out to that community to get them involved. We've been working with great leaders in the faith community, guys like Ralph Reed and others, to kind of make sure that we are talking to these people, we are reaching out to these people. Donald Trump has a major faith event coming up in North Carolina on Monday. We just had one in North Carolina with J.D. Vance last week. On Friday, we're going to be doing one down in Georgia with Ben Carson and Ralph Reed. So, this is a community that we're working very aggressively on and trying to make sure that they understand, because Kamala Harris has said that she is going to be the most radical, progressive president ever. She is absolutely no restrictions on abortion whatsoever, even though that is way outside the mainstream for the American voters. She is going to fight every day for transgenders and make sure that taxpayers are paying for transgender surgeries for prisoners and illegal aliens. She said that she's going to fight to allow boys and women's sports and men and women's locker rooms. She is absolutely outside the mainstream. And when it comes to protecting religious liberties, Donald Trump has walked the walk. He was the most pro-life president in the history of this country, and he is going up against a lady who said that she will be, she really is the most pro-abortion candidate really in the history of the country.
She also claims that she worked at a McDonald's, but apparently nobody can find the McDonald's or the record of that, which brings me to Philadelphia. There are reports here in Pennsylvania and even Philadelphia that this weekend, former President Trump may be at a McDonald's, maybe frying up some fries. Is that true?
That's what we're hearing, and I think it just is a great way again for the president to go out and communicate directly with the voters. And when there is a lot that you can do with an event, and the Democrats are going to continue to call it a stunt, but you know what? It shows the American people that he is serious about this campaign, and Kamala Harris is just not trustworthy.
I appreciate you so much. Thanks for taking the time with us, and Godspeed. Michael, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Take care. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Yes, hope the conversation will continue with Michael Whatley. All of a sudden I realized, oh my goodness, it's 10:27. We have a great guest just ahead, just a few minutes away. And we're going to take a spin here a little bit. Somebody who I believe he actually starred on an episode of The Apprentice with Trump at some point. I have to ask him about this, but a famous musician is going to join me right around the corner. You're going to love this. Little surprise, little something different that Dan Borowski set up. So quick break. Stay right there. Be right back.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/rain to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/rain. That's leaffilter.com/rain.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
So right before Christmas, in my family, we love the tradition of finding Christmas concerts. Maybe something different you haven't done before, or, maybe it's something familiar. Which brings me to a great Christmas concert, holiday concert, that'll be right before Christmas here in Philadelphia. And to tell us a little more is a very famous guitarist, Joel Hoekstra, joining me now, who plays for, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. and you may know him as well at White Snake. So all my rock fans are going to, love me for this. And I know that, welcome in, Joe. It's so great to have you here, Joel.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
I mean, you've really done it all as far as Cher, Night Ranger, Broadway show, Rock of Ages, and all your work, not just with Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Whitesnake, but even Foreigner and so many others. We couldn't even print out all of the work you've done, and you're, which is a testament. It's amazing. So it's just my honor to have you here on the Dawn Show. But tell me about Sunday, December 22nd, Philadelphia, 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock concerts. I love these kind of, holiday concerts. By the way, we're supposed to have a white Christmas on the East Coast and in Philadelphia. We're very excited about that. So take me through what you love as far as the Trans-Siberian Orchestra and what we could expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do my best. I mean, it's a very unique show. There's a story on the front half of the show, rock opera, if you will. And this year it's going to be The Lost Christmas Eve, which is a story that we haven't performed since 2013 for context. Plus, it's an all reworked version. So even our diehard fans that are following us from year to year are very excited about this year. And then the second half of the show is a little bit more of just like a freewheeling rock concert that focuses on the magnitude of the production. And if you haven't seen Trans-Siberian, it's just incredible just to look at alone. I mean, we've got a video wall the width of the arena. We've got a Pink Floyd laser light show that's like out of this world. Ridiculous, amazing pyrotechnics happening, like a Kiss show or something. And then you've got moving hydraulic lifts out over the audience that the performers are playing on. We will run off of the stage and play right down, like right directly in front of you, and it snows indoors. It's an incredible show to just see, much less hear. So it's very, very special, unique hybrid of elements that makes it a family-friendly show. It's going to sound super cliche to everybody, but there's something for all ages in this. Like, the kids love looking at it, right? The video, the fire, the lasers. And you've got the older audiences really appreciate the story. It puts them in the holiday spirit. And then there's people in my world who go because, like, hey, this is a cool rock concert. So you get like this unique hybrid of elements that Paul O'Neill laid out and had in his vision, our founder creator. And it's just really cool to see it all come to fruition. I memean, it's something that he envisioned becoming a Christmas tradition for so many. And now, this year we're going to surpass 20 million tickets sold. It's amazing to be ingrained in North American Christmas culture at this point in time. It's really fun.
Yeah, Joel, I got a quick question for you. Like, as a producer here, I watch your concerts, and I am fascinated by the production that goes into them and the decisions that have the pyro and all. Are you picking your own pyro? And when you're on a rotating platform that's elevated above the stage, who's making those kind of calls? Do you have any input in that?
Oh, no, the higher-ups decide how to barbecue me. In all seriousness, the production decisions, I mean, all that stuff is like, that is literally a 365-day-a-year job. They start talking about that when the last note of the tour is still ringing in the air, and they're like, all right, next year, let's talk about it. And then so they start planning the stage and start talking about what story, et cetera. And as a musician, I mean, it doesn't get much better than to be on that stage because, in all honesty, it just makes you look cool even just standing there. I mean, when you got a wall of flames behind you and you got lasers going all over the place, it's like, wow, I look pretty cool.
Are you doing the heavy metal, like head banging hair all over the place in front of the fire?
He does have great hair.
He does.
I mean, there's definitely an element of Trans-Siberian that's like that, but I say stylistically, there's a lot of different things represented. There's like, you'll hear some like R&B influences in the music, and certainly classical music. There's a big element to that. I mean, that's a lot of what's behind the name. The Trans-Siberian Railway is something that brought all different cultures together, and I think that's something that Paul O'Neill's vision was in naming the band, which, is such a unique name and has such a different connotation these days. and there's many shared memes about it. But I think just how fun it is to bring people together. And we see that, and we've got an amazing fan base that follows around from city to city and have made us part of their holiday tradition. I often joke that we're like the Grateful Dead of Christmas. I mean, we've got people that come to see us like year after year and follow us around from city to city and see multiple shows. It's just really cool to be able to play music that I love with people that I love and enjoy spending time with. All these great talent pool musicians in TSO. And get out and often fill an arena twice a day. Like, when we're playing Wells Fargo, it's going to be packed, both shows. And for us to get on the bus at the end of that day and go, man, we just rocked Philly for 25,000 people or something today. I mean, it's a really cool feeling as a musician. You don't get that too often.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, I was just looking, I'm like, oh, this is a great event I love that you said that was my question, if it was family friendly, because for our kids, could we take them? But you're saying whether they're teenagers, whether they're younger, the grandparent, you could really take the whole family and everybody gets something out of it.
Yes, as unbelievable as it sounds, you look out and you can see 3 generations of family. There'll be the grandparents, parents, and kids. Everybody actually is happy. The kids are not tugging at the sleeves going, is this thing almost over? What's going on here? Everybody truly enjoys it. It's really totally 100% unique in that regard. I can't actually think of anything else like it. So, I mean, there's a lot of words you can use to try to describe the show, but if you haven't seen us, come out and see us. There's a reason I think that we've been able to sell 20 million tickets and sell more than 12 million CDs, and obviously become ingrained in the culture here, in the holiday culture. We're all over Christmas radio. You'll watch a football game and inevitably they're playing TSO on the way out to commercial. And of course, all these viral light shows that people have done to our music and that have gone, where they program all their Christmas lights to our music. And it's just really fun to be a part of that, and we're looking forward to coming to Philly. I mean, Wells Fargo is a magnificent venue. I mean, it's electric, and Philly is an incredible town. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys, and it's always a very special stop for us.
Appreciate it. And so Trans-Siberian Orchestra, we know you obviously from Whitesnake. We know you from Broadway musical Rock of Ages. Were you on The Apprentice, Celebrity Apprentice at one point?
I was on there. I was on an episode through making the movie Rock of Ages.
Okay.
I was in a scene with Sebastian Bach, Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon, Nuno Betancourt from Extreme, and Debbie Gibson of all people. And Debbie ended up being on Celebrity Apprentice, and she said, "Hey, would you come down and play with me and be a part of this episode?" And so I just said that, and I actually last week was on Dancing with the Stars as well. If anybody happened to tune in and see that, they had a hair metal episode, and
that was
they had me on as a special guest.
I am forced to watch. I cannot wait to share that with my wife tonight, Joel. That is so exciting because we were watching that, and I was saying that's a badass guitar. Were you the guy that was on stage that had the focus? Remember, there was one song that there's a lot of focus on the lead guitarist. Was that you up there?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, that's so cool. Sorry, I'm nerding out a little bit over here.
I love it. This is awesome. Well, we can't wait for you to be here in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center. I'm looking it up, and it's saying high demand event. So this is selling out fast. So it's something where you want to plan ahead.
Don, I got one more question for him. He mentioned it in passing, but the light shows that I'm just curious, was that really what exploded the popularity of Trans-Siberian Orchestra? Because you can't drive through a suburban neighborhood now without having one of these light shows, sync to your music. And I really think it really started with a Miller Lite ad back in 2004. Am I correct in saying that?
I believe so. I mean, I think it was actually really radio that really first broke it. I think that really through being played on the air consistently in Cleveland is kind of where it spawned out of. And that's the band really took off from there. So this is something that's been out there really since 1998, 99. And in terms of the longevity, that's really comes from being Trans-Siberian Orchestra itself. It's something that's very much about the show. It's not so much about me or any single individual in it. It was Paul O'Neill's vision was that this be a tradition that live on beyond him, and it's kind of bigger than all of us. So we set aside all our individual stuff to give you guys the best possible show. It's really about Trans-Siberian Orchestra and that experience for people. So it really is truly unique and it's wonderful as a guitar player to be a part of it, man. I mean, it's unlike anything else that I've done. It's, I've had a lot of great opportunities, done a lot of really, really cool stuff, but TSO is very, very special.
I love it. Joel Hoekstra. You got your inspiration from AC/DC?
Yeah. As a kid, my parents were classical musicians, and they had me on cello at 3 and piano at 7. And I was like, no, I want to be I want to be the next Steve Carlton. I wanted to be a baseball pitcher, And then when I was 11, I saw Angus Young in AC/DC, and I went, well, wait, that's the coolest person I've ever seen in my life. I got to be that guy. Now, I didn't realize I was going to grow to be about a foot taller than him, but nonetheless, Back in Black was the album that made me want to get going on guitar and pick it all up. So I owe a lot to him for that inspiration.
I love it. Well, Joel Hoekstra.
One more question before
Yes.
Joel goes, because I'm still nerding out about this Dancing with the Stars. I just got to ask, as someone who's not a fan of Dancing with the Stars, but into the world of it, because my wife is a diehard fan of it, during your episode, there was a hugely controversial moment where Gene Simmons, during his judging, gave pretty low scores and was smiling and laughing about it. I wonder, at backstage, did you have any conversations with Gene Simmons of KISS, and did you ask him what the hell he was thinking in his judging by chance?
I had I also play some acoustic shows with a friend, and a week before in Buffalo, not a week, I'd say 3 weeks before in Buffalo, we were on the same bill as Gene, and I spoke extensively with him that night. And I, at that time, it wasn't announced that he was a part of this Dancing with the Stars thing. So I ended up talking with him for about an hour and a half that night. And he was just a great guy, like out of nowhere, which he's, kind of an intimidating guy. So I was like, hey, that was cool. I just had a great conversation with Gene Simmons for like an hour and a half. And I saw him only beforehand at Dancing with the Stars. And he was very cool again, but we didn't really... In all honesty, during the show, I was so focused on trying to just play right because I was nervous. I mean, there's like 2 million people watching that show, and you're going, man, don't mess up. Like, we're live on national TV here. Don't mess up. So I was paying very little attention to any of the judging and things like that, and more attention to, okay, where do I need to be? There was all kinds of stuff happening. I mean, they had me standing on the hood of that car, and I'm thinking, if I fall right now, I'm the laughing stock of the entire, like, anybody who's watching this show. Like, so I'm trying to do my rock moves and go, don't fall. But now Gene was really cool backstage. I don't know, I suppose there's an element of that. Gene Simmons enjoys being controversial, right? So I suppose it almost comes with the territory. But he certainly was really, really nice to me at this event and the previous one, and that was really fun.
Well, we can't wait for December 22nd here in Philadelphia, Wells Fargo Centers. You will be performing with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You're legendary guitarist. Will we see some solos December 22nd?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I thought so.
Guitar solos.
Just making sure.
Absolutely.
Joel, thank you so much. And we can't wait to see you here in Philadelphia December 22nd. I know it's selling out. Thank you, Joel Hoekstra. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time out today. Appreciate you.
Oh, appreciate you too. So Joel Hoekstra, I don't know why Joel Hoekstra, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. That's a mouthful there. But this sounds, are you going to do this? Is this something you would do, Dan?
What?
Go?
Yeah, are you kidding me? Yeah.
I know, I'm looking up the tickets.
Yeah. I'm the kind of guy, so first off, I love the music of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, so I would go for the music itself, but I'm the kind of guy, like Maisie drugged me to an Ed Sheeran concert. I have no desire to see Ed Sheeran live, but it tickles my production bones to see how other people run shows and things like that, so something like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, especially with the amount of fireworks they use, it's more than like WrestleMania. You go to that thing and there's nonstop pyro and effects, and yeah, that's something really cool to see.
Yeah, I think it sounds, and so my son Michael, our theme song is AC/DC, Back in Black. It's like I don't know. I think when he was going through diagnosed diabetes type 1, because you have the readings, Back in Black. I don't know what it was, but that's like our theme song. So 855-839-1210. We took a little break of our own from all the politics, but we'll jump right back into it. And don't worry, you're not going to miss a thing with Trump coming on live. And that's going to happen in the 11 o'clock hour. But I do have a lot of breaking news this morning. So we'll talk about all of that and more. Got to talk about my friends at Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. By now, I've talked about Chapman for years. They're local, like-minded. 2 brothers, Mike and Mark Chapman, started their business, small business out in Chester County. Oh, my goodness. And now, as their families have grown, their business certainly has grown. Just great guys who I trust their business. And they've done, like I say, the work they've done in my home is amazing. Just beautiful work. So high quality, too. What are they doing in October? So we're halfway through October. This is your chance. You've got to send Chapman a photo of your front door. You know why? Because everybody who sends in a photo gets $500 in credit toward a new front door. But one person with the door most in need of a little or a lot, TLC, is going to get $1,000 in credit toward that new front door. Obviously, the updated front door, it's like a makeover, instant makeover for your home, boost the curb value. So whether it's a single door, double door, door with the side lights, they have such an experienced project consultant that's going to work with you, help you choose the perfect door for your home. And just think of Chapman for windows, doors, siding, stucco remediation, the shutters, all the hardware choices. You can give them a call or text 610-431-8898. I love to take the virtual tour and see the before and after photos at ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
I heard a press conference with Terrell Parker, the mayor here. She went on and on about the lawlessness in Philadelphia and the gun violence. What are you doing about it, sweetheart?
Yeah, that was my rant about a month ago. I'm done hearing about your lip service.
How long has she been in office for?
9 months. Where's the Philadelphia Inquirer and all these local media people? Are they grilling her? Do we know about that? Is there any tough questions coming her way? Or are we still in the honeymoon phase?
I've seen nothing in 9 months.
Yeah, although they report that crime is down.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
This is Jordan Lundy.
And this is Len Lundy. Lundy Law has won billions for our clients.
But more importantly, we've won the trust and confidence of thousands of people injured in motor vehicle crashes, slip and fall accidents, and work-related injuries.
My son and I hope we never meet you because of an accident. But if we do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com for a free consultation.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
He does a lot of parodies of different songs to see it all come together, which is awesome. And then the whole family and his daughter. The Carson Wentz hate definitely resonated. And I love the Frank Sinatra guy, and I thought the drummer was fabulous. Go Joe, go Birds. It was awesome.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So one of the local stories here that I've been following is it's a horrible story of this detective, law enforcement, a sergeant, I should say, in South Jersey, where neighbors are calling 911 saying that several guys are kicking in the door of this law enforcement officer, a sergeant. And so the new details from, this is Bridgeton police say they rushed to answer those calls to this home. They say when they arrived, they found the victim ID'd as one of their own. 51-year-old Monica Mosley, a sergeant with the Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office. And they could not save her life. So murdered, as reportedly these people kicked in her front door. So is this a situation where this sergeant was being targeted? Why? Because she's in law enforcement? What's going on here? We don't know. We don't have the answers. They did follow the trail to Cooper University Hospital in Camden, as well as I think there was another hospital involved, but it was at Cooper in the emergency department that one person is being detained for questioning after being treated for a gunshot wound. I still don't have all the details. I'm giving you what I'm getting on the record from police, because, of course, I would not reveal off-the-record information. So I'm just trying to give this. But the chief there, the police chief, saying that he has known Sergeant Mosley for most of her career, expressing heartache and condolences to her immediate and extended family members and to the entire staff of the prosecutor's office. So I know Zioli is very friendly with some of these prosecutors in South Jersey. So I know that we're trying to just find out what's going on here, but it's a devastating story. And so we want to get to the bottom of that, and just please pray for the family and these officers to hear about this. So we'll continue to follow that one. And I love that we're not getting all the details as we switch gears and think about Trump maybe serving up some fries and Big Macs. I love that story, the McDonald's story. It's one of my favorites. But something you can bite into, and that is the final debate, second debate, that was in Philadelphia, 6ABC. It's not getting a lot of headlines. There's so much happening. But this is an important race, not just for Pennsylvania, but obviously for the balance of the Senate, because we have a longtime incumbent senator here who is a junior. This is Bob Casey Jr., longtime senator here, career politician. And he's getting the biggest challenge of his political career by one Republican challenger, Dave McCormick, who, as you know, Republican has never been, he's an outsider. McCormick has never been a politician before in his life. This is all new to him. He's a businessman, successful, and I don't care what the commercials say. Look him up. I mean, he's born and raised here in Pennsylvania, and West Point grad, combat veteran, and then went on to, do big things in business. But he's the challenger. So Dan has Big Dan's cut sheet. Where do you want us to begin, with the economy?
Yeah, why don't we start with Bob Casey we'll start with, asking for a cause of inflation, and he can't name one single thing besides the one thing he continues to return to, that being price gouging. Take a listen, Don.
Matt, there's no question that when you have the kind of skyrocketing prices, again, corporate profits up 75%, there are a number of causes. But the Federal Reserve told us in that time period from the middle of 20 to the middle of 2022, corporate profits cause 41% of all the inflation in America. I think we should do something about that. Hold them accountable. We should also help families, provide a middle-class tax cut, not a tax cut for big corporations and billionaires, and we should help families with a child tax credit to offset those costs that families incur.
It seems like the debate strategy throughout by McCormick was try to get Casey to accept any accountability for his role in the skyrocketing inflation, and he just continued to step aside. McCormick here just wrecking Casey and the Harris administration for their role in the inflation. Take a listen.
Stark choice. Senator Casey, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris said that all this $5 trillion of new spending would not drive inflation. Larry Summers, a Democrat economist that served as Obama's Treasury Secretary, said, no, if you spend $5 trillion, which is what they spent, of new money, it's going to drive up prices. That, plus a war on fossil fuels, has driven up fuel prices. So groceries are up 22%, rent 22%, electricity 35%, fuel 50%. under the Biden-Harris-Casey plan. So I'm not saying that there isn't some company that could be potentially be price gouging. The problem is that this is caused by bad policy. And Senator Casey has been a 99% vote for all these excessive spending policies. And the one thing we learned in the Army, day one, is you got to take responsibility for your actions. He's not taking responsibility for his actions. These votes were obviously going to drive this inflation problem. It's killing working families, and we need to change.
So this idea of corporate profits is nuts. And if you ever took economy classes, if you listen to any expert, inflation is a direct result of the out of control spending. What's the saying, like a drunken sailor? And so that's just ridiculous. It is. I know this is a progressive talking point, but it's nuts. Inflation is a direct result of and remember the ironically named Inflation Reduction Act. But this is the Biden-Harris administration pushing this lie. Inflation is caused by their ridiculous, outrageous spending that did nothing but caused, inflation and their policies. That's my bottom line on that one. We'll get to more of it, but we're up against a big break. So we'll reset at the top of the hour. Don't worry when Trump starts to speak, and maybe fireworks will fly. I don't know what's going to happen with the Trump-Harris interview, meaning on Fox, Harris-Faulkner. So we have the lesser Harris, which is the Veep, I guess. Hey, thanks for being here today. 855-839-1210. If you want to comment, be right back.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
They don't call her Confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, Confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat Confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.
Is your home cold and drafty, or windows and doors just won't open like they used to anymore? Brighten your home with new doors and windows from Emmons Roofing and Siding.
We offer a wide selection to fit your style and budget, ensuring energy efficiency and aesthetic appeal.
And new doors and windows enhance your home's value and comfort.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
So we'll take the Faulkner focus with Harris Faulkner going live with Trump in a moment. And this was, when I say live, she's on live, and we're hearing this for the first time, but this was pre-taped last night. I'll just point out to you that on Monday, just on Monday, Trump was on social media criticizing Fox News in many ways, saying they've grown weak and soft on Democrats because they're going to interview Vice President Kamala Harris with Brett Baier. That's upcoming. And so on Fox, they're talking about the early voting, about 1/3 voters going in Georgia. That's a record, pretty much doubling what we saw 4 years ago. And so what does that mean? But I do find it interesting that, with Trump, he really is somebody who will, the day before he pre-tapes something with Fox, he is criticizing the network, saying they've lost their way. So we're anxious to hear this as well. And talking about the polls, you can let me know as far as whether you believe the polls or not. For example, in Georgia right now, all the polls have it either locked head-to-head or Trump ahead in as many as 6 points ahead. And yet this morning, Greg Stocker, always like, I think he does this to trigger me, but he says, oh no, look at all the women. They're all going to vote for Harris, So we can all be Monday morning quarterbacks, I guess, and look at this. But I'll talk over this and give you some updates as far as until they go to this interview.
Everything needs to be on Twitter.
So I do want to, they're not to Trump yet. He's just being introed, okay? But I think it's important to think about the scene setter here. And as far as Trump, he is everywhere. So coming out to an audience where they have a town hall, and this is all women, it's a packed event. I would love to be in this crowd. I know many of us would. But it's pretty cool as they welcome him in, and he gets this audience with all of these women. It's a little bit of a focus group, if you will, right?
It's a weird setup.
So it's a
pretty setup.
It is. Well, of course, it's Fox.
It's very TV.
Yes, and they do it well. I think they do it best as far as the look of the set. A great crowd. They had to vet everybody. High security, a smaller venue, but he gets a standing ovation. All these ladies in the crowd, and now they begin. Again, I want you to know that it is pre-taped, but they call it live to tape. They have promised, I believe, that they were not going to do the editing that we've seen on, for example, with CBS News, heavily editing those pieces, 60 Minutes, I should say, with 60 Minutes with Vice President Harris. Should we dip in a little bit here, Dan? I think there's still...
Look at what Senator Warnock had to say. I want to get, for the first time, former President Trump's reaction to what's going on here in Georgia. Let's watch.
To not vote is a vote. It's a vote for Donald Trump. It's to send this man one step closer to the White House, which finally, let me say, will be literally dangerous for so many of the people that we know. Dangerous, as we've demonstrated, for women. But this man, let me remind the Black men who are listening, the men of color, communities of color, he will be dangerous.
So she wants the reaction from, talking about Trump is dangerous to women, dangerous to Black men. So playing this, and this is just yesterday, that they continue with this rhetoric against somebody who has had assassination attempts against him. The man was shot in the right ear, as you know, in Butler, Pennsylvania. And then they arrested the other guy while he's golfing. The man can't golf. And then there was the other arrest. Allegedly, that one was, somebody who says he's a Trump supporter, but showed up at a rally with firearms. Here's Trump.
I don't think they have a policeman or a policewoman single. And we have the border. We have the safest border in the history of our country. Now we have the most unsafe border in the history of our country. So when you talk about safety, we had, it was just announced, as you know, last week, 13,099 murderers were released into our country. Drug dealers, drug addicts, everybody is released into our country. We've never had anything like this. We've never had a mess like this. 625,000 criminals released into our country, along with 21 million people. We have no idea who they are. And, that's just a soundbite. I don't know this guy, but he got lucky as hell to win, I'll tell you that much. But it's a soundbite that they like to use. But remember this, law enforcement's with me 100%, and we have to keep our community safe. And we have to take these murderers that they've allowed to come through open borders without knowing anything about them. We have to take those people and we have to remove them. We have to get them out of our country.
We're going to get into all of it. I want, first of all, a show of hands. Who voted early today? All right. Sounds good. Oh, and they're waving.
Who did they vote for? I wonder.
I think about a third of the audience.
First thing you wanted to know.
Are we
how
allowed
many
to
voted
ask
for me?
that? Who did you vote?
So another show of hands. How many of you actually feel good about how the economy is right now?
None of them.
No.
Yeah.
You have our first question on
Maybe
the economy.
two.
We will start there. Your first name, please, and tell us your hometown.
My name is Lisa, and I live in the city of Milton. First of all, welcome back to Georgia, President Trump.
Thank you very much.
Americans are concerned about the state of our economy. Democrats argue that your policies favor the wealthy, especially through tax cuts for billionaires, while the middle class continues to struggle these last 3.5 years under the Biden-Harris administration. Could you outline your plans to revitalize the economy again as president and policies that specifically support the middle class when reelected?
Sure. Thank you very much. Great question. And sort of an easy question for me to answer because we have tremendous wealth in this country, but it's under our feet. It's called liquid gold. And we're going to bring down your energy costs, and with that, everything's going to follow. We're also going to make it possible for companies to come into our country again. We've lost so many businesses. If you're in furniture making, like in North Carolina, they're flocking out of our country because we have politicians that don't know what to do. We're bringing them all back. We have a tax rate that's going to lure them, and we're going to protect them with tariffs so they can make money and so they don't get stolen. But we're going to have record-setting jobs. And just to know, the advantage I have is that I've done it. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had never had an economy. And remember this, we also had the safest border in the history of our country. We never had a border that safe. The famous graph that I looked at, my all-time favorite piece of paper. Even my all-time favorite. I love that piece of paper. But that shows you, that day, the day I left office, the border was the safest it ever was in the history of our country. We had the fewest number of people. We have the least amount of drugs. Everything was human trafficking, which is now 12 times higher than it was when. And it's trafficking, I hate to say this, mostly in women. It's a vicious thing because of the internet and because of this administration, maybe more so than the internet. But we had the safest border. We had the best economy. Think of it, a combination of security and finance and all of the other things. And we're going to make it even better. We're going to make the border even better. But the border can't. We did things with the border that nobody could have done, including we built 571 miles of wall. And that wall worked. Then I got Mexico to give us soldiers, a lot of soldiers, 28,000 soldiers to protect us. I said, you have to protect us because you're letting all of these criminals come into our country. You have to protect us. They said, we're not going to do it. I said, good, then I'm just going to tariff all your goods until you do it. They said, like I said, we're going to do it. And they gave us the soldiers. So we had great protection, and we had the best economy in the history of our country.
Okay, let's get back to the economy.
So this is taking place in Georgia. They start out with the border and the economy. Those are two, I think, Trump winning issues. But do they get into some of the other tougher issues, women's issues? I wonder if they get into so-called reproductive health for women or the abortion issue. How does that work? And remember, they're in Georgia, a critical swing state. We know that for former President Donald J. Trump, the easiest path to the White House would be winning a state like Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, locking that in. But it's he's obviously not taking anything for granted here. I think it sounds like a pretty friendly audience. I did see some in the audience who were disagreeing, but for the most part, it sounds like a pretty friendly audience. So, Dan, I don't know if you want to continue and take a little bit more.
Talking about Social Security taxing right now, it might be beneficial to take a commercial really quick and maybe bump back with some more, Dawn.
Okay, we'll do. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the breaking news of the day. I have some new numbers in for our area. We'll get to all of it. And if you have a question or comment, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Laura Lee Trump. Now, Kamala Harris lied about working at McDonald's.
I believe there was an episode of The Apprentice or something where he did actually have to work at McDonald's. So between the two of them, Donald Trump can actually say he worked at McDonald's. I would buy some fries for him, though, because I can tell you he knows his McDonald's fries. Don't kid yourself. That's a staple on the airplane when you fly with him.
And Laura, they would be the crispiest fries ever. Unbelievably crispy.
Rich Cioli, weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. And on the free Odyssey app.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. This year, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, is giving you a chance to win big every Thursday night with FanDuel Squares. It's the same Super Bowl Squares game you've always known, only way better. You know, the office pools. We've all done the office pools. That's because your numbers aren't just randomly assigned. You get to pick them yourself. You can pick as many as you like, and you'll get to see the odds beforehand. Also, you can bet on them live during the game. What a deal. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg, and bet on FanDuel Squares. Plus, if you're new to FanDuel, you can bet $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. $300 in bonus bets if you win just on one $5 bet. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT, 21 and over, President, Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit EasyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano, weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
What are women worried about? So let's get back to it. In this one, we're going to talk about Trump is being asked about an issue that's a huge issue in our area. One that just recently I met, Riley Gaines in person, as she has been here in Pennsylvania trying to help communities grapple with the issue of protecting women and girls in sports. And that's the question teed up for Trump.
Good.
But originally Brooklyn, New York.
Oh,
I'd get that
good.
in there. My question is, how do you plan on addressing the transgender issue in women's sports? I have 9 grandchildren, 6 of them female, all playing sports, and we are very concerned for their safety, not just on the field and the courts, but in their locker rooms as well.
Right. It's such an easy question, and everybody in the room, and you know that answer, we're not going to let it happen. You look, just yesterday, they had a volleyball match. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where a person that transitioned, okay? We have to be very careful because this can terminate your political career if you say it's slightly off, all right? But transitioned from man to female and was on a volleyball. And I saw the slam. It was a slam. I never saw a ball hit so hard. Hit the girl on the head. But other people, even in volleyball, they've been they've been really hurt badly, women playing men. But you don't have to do the volleyball. We stop it. We absolutely stop it. You can't have it. It's a man playing in the game. Physically, from a muscular standpoint, even if it was a little bit less, maybe they do all sorts of tests and drugs and everything else. Look at what's happened in swimming. Look at the records that are being broken.
So how do you stop it? Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just
councils?
ban it. The president
Executive
bans it.
order.
You just don't let it happen. Not a big deal.
You have the next question. I know.
So that you hear the applause on that one. I know that he moves on to talking about child tax credits. It's a huge issue for moms, especially when we think about coming off the pandemic and dealing with child care issues and the child, tax credits and maybe even school vouchers as well. But for us locally, you think of what happened at Central Bucks. You think of, North Penn United, the Lansdale area, Montgomery County schools, and grappling with Joe Biden's and Kamala Harris's Title IX policies and the executive order that Biden signed that just went into effect in August. Local school districts dealing with this issue as I'm speaking. Do you want to go to this answer that he has, Dan?
Child tax credit?
Yeah.
Yep, here we go.
Tax credit has decreased by 80%.
That's
Sorry, my child tax credit has decreased by almost 80%. Daycare for the lowest amount is roughly $1,400 a month for one child here.
Yeah.
Last year I broke my neck. I almost lost.
You have a beautiful voice, by the way.
Thank you so much. I'm having a panic attack right now. Don't panic.
Mom's very nervous.
I'm right here with you. But last year I had broken my neck and I tried applying for any kind of assistance and was denied because I did not make less than $700 a month. And I'm shaking like a freaking leaf. I cannot stop. So I could not afford daycare. I obviously was having to go through physical therapy and a lot of issues, and I'm still having issues to this day.
Right, I understand.
But what kind of realistic changes do you think you can provide single parents, married parents, any kind of parent to just simply afford children in today's world with the way things are?
Right? It is not fair.
No.
You never heard of Ivanka, right? Ivanka. My daughter drove me crazy on this. We had the simplest, most beautiful I gave you the largest tax cuts in the history of our country, okay? Larger than the Reagan cuts, larger. But my daughter, Ivanka, she said, Dad, we have to do tax credits for women, for the child tax credits. She was driving me crazy. Then I did it, and I got it just about done. Dad, you've got to double it up. I said, Ivanka, it was actually more complicated than the entire bill, but I got it done. And what we're going to do, and I'm going to make, because I understand exactly what you're saying, we're going to readjust things so that it's fair to everybody, because it's really not fair to everybody. But we have a lot. And we're going up higher, but we're also going to readjust because you have to make some readjustments. It's unfair to some people. And we're not going to have that. But she was the one that got it started. You know, those were our credits. Those were not the Democrat credits. A lot of Republicans said, rightfully, don't do it because we never get credit for that. You know, we're not known for that. But the truth is, I wanted to put it all in the form of the tax cut. So I got the maximum tax cut, but we're also bringing down the taxes for companies and for people. We're bringing it down to 15%. And for companies, only if you make your product, build your product in the USA. Otherwise, you don't get it. So it'll be good.
So a couple of things here, and that's when they talk about the gouging and that sort of thing. So remember that Joe Biden wanted to hike the corporate tax, I believe, to 35%. His vice president, who's now the contender against Trump, and Vice President Harris has said, I believe, 28%. Trump has said, no, we're going to bring that corporate tax down to 15%. And that was something that worked for him, because it spurs the economy, keeps the jobs here, keeps the companies here, and it worked last time. I will tell you personally, when he talks about the tariffs, to me, that is Trump saying that, okay, if you want to move your company out or you don't want to do it the way we want, then we're going to impose a tariff on you. So I do wonder about the tariff issue. I don't know that he would get that. I don't know. To be totally honest with you, I think with him, he's saying this is what happens if you leave the country as a company and you take those jobs with you. And so you heard him even saying that car companies like Mercedes, other cars, and how they bring the cars here and then they will assemble them here. Doesn't take that long. He doesn't like that. So he wants to bring jobs back here. Some of the pundits have said he'll never bring the jobs back. Remember this? I'm just going to take you back, because Obama at the time, remember, when Trump was running the first time off the escalator and running for 2016, and then President Barack Obama has said, nobody can bring back those jobs. Those jobs are never coming back. Remember that? Who brought those jobs back? It was Trump. So he did deliver on that, and he is the proven winner on that. I'm just saying. But remember where he is right now. Where are they reporting live from? This is in Georgia. What happened at the University of Georgia? This is where a nursing student, Laken Riley, was murdered on this campus. Remember, by a man who should not have been in this country. And so this is Laken Riley country. And so when they ask the border question, I will be curious to see during this interview, will they bring up Laken Riley and that situation and the impact on people from Georgia? And we talk about the women's vote. Well, what about women who don't feel safe? Don't feel safe, whether they're young women on their university campus, whether they're women going to work, whether it's in Georgia or a city like Philadelphia. Because guess what? I just had a conversation recently with a friend who said, I'm not meeting you for lunch in Philadelphia. Not near your workplace. Don't want to go in the city. Don't feel safe. And by the way, not just women. So will Laken Riley's murder will that be a question? And also in the bigger scheme of things, talking about these so-called sanctuary cities. So I imagine they will bring that up, as you've already heard them talk about the economy, talk about child care credits, and I've not heard as of yet abortion.
He makes a really good point, because Harris, in a follow-up on the child tax credit question, helping parents, really brings bleak reality to the situation, that being that this inflation that we're seeing, it's probably not going to come back down. It's probably going to stick with us. And asks Trump what he can do, and Trump in his answer explains that a lot of what we're seeing now probably wouldn't happen had he been president. And I think it's pretty good stuff. Take a listen.
I want to ask you specifically what your vision is for people in this country who are going to have to readjust to price setting now. We will never go back to what we had. And even though the inflation rate has slowed, the prices are so high, they are just getting higher at a slower rate.
Yeah.
So what happens to the economy such that people can afford bacon that's gone up 28% in cost? Like, what do we do?
So I feel so badly about what's happened, because none of this would have happened. Just to start, there wouldn't have been a war in Ukraine and Russia. There wouldn't have been an October 7th in Israel. There wouldn't have been this horrible, most embarrassing day in the history of our country with Afghanistan, where we lost 13 soldiers. But they never talk about the soldiers that are so badly wounded I mean, with legs and arms and face obliteration, all these things, and there wouldn't have been any inflation. And it's so sad to see. We have to get prices down because the damage is done. You know, when they say, well, we're stopping inflation because it went down now to 4.5%. Well, 4.5% is very high. Very high, meaning it's going up because it was at 3 and then, but it was at one point, I believe 40 or 50%. Because if you look, they didn't include a lot. They didn't include, I had interest rates at 2%. They went to 10%, but at 10% you couldn't get the money. So they weren't at 10%, they were much higher than 10%. We've got to get the pricing down. It's this big lump.
So how do you?
And we've got to do, well, I'll tell you, everything starts with interest rates. If you get interest down, but it all starts with energy. We have more energy than anybody. We don't use it. We go to Venezuela to get their tar. You know, they have tar, and we have to refine it. We have the only refinery that can do it is in Houston, Texas. So if you're an environmental person, this stuff is pouring up. It's the worst stuff. We have the best, most beautiful. We have the best and the most. And we have to get, if we get energy down, and I'm making this pledge here, but I have made it a couple of days before, so, you know. But energy, your energy bill, which is a very big bill, will be down 50% starting on 1 year from January 20th. We take office, if we win this election, and I just, you know, it's beyond like, I didn't need to do this. I really didn't. I saw what was happening. And I said, I have to do it again. We had a great election in 2020. We had an election that was much better than 2016.
Let me ask you this.
And so all of the polls, the latest Gallup poll I'm just looking at, you know, Trump 54% when it comes to who do you trust more with handling the economy. This latest Gallup poll, 54% of Americans say Trump, and that's only compared to 45% for Harris, which is actually, that's a better one for her. A lot of them are 70-30 for Trump, so he wins on the economy for sure. I am told that he does get asked by a California woman about the abortion issue, so that is one that we want to talk about moving forward. I have a great guest coming up, Kay Dugarry, who's going to call from Delco. Great Republican mom candidate who's going to be joining me soon. So we'll talk to Kay and get her take as we think about Republican women and women looking at this election, what we're seeing here in Pennsylvania. And I just got some new numbers texted to me by an official, so I'll give you those around the corner. Got to talk about my friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles. They're featuring the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands. I'm talking about Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. These models, they're so sleek, new designs, innovative features powered by the latest in technology. Thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles that are available right now across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey dealerships. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit them, piazzapremiumautos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
We'll get down to the low 40s, maybe the upper 30s tonight. Mainly clear conditions. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 59. Thursday, 62 the high and the sunshine. Friday, 69. Saturday, 72 and sunny. Sunday looks great too with a high of 76.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Business owners can count on McCausland Lock and Alarm to secure and control access to their facilities. Enjoy peace of mind while their access control and CCTV systems provide top-of-the-line protection for your assets. Tom McCausland's wealth of experience allows McCausland to effectively protect all types of facilities in any environment, and their customer service is unmatched. Call today, 610-430-1500. 610-430-1500. McCausland Lock and Alarm, securing your business, securing your future.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-200-1966, 800-200-1966, or biglou.com. Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
High school football is back. High school football is back. And so is the Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Join Daryl Dobis, James Bailey, and Matt Dents. Friday nights 10 till midnight for a rundown of all the big high school games in the region and expert analysis. The Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Friday night at 10. Only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app. Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So we'll continue in a moment with the they're not talking right now with Trump. They do bring up the abortion issue, so that will be upcoming. Talking a lot about the border. Laken Riley does come up. I know that for a fact. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Kay, our friend from Delco, 166th District, great local mom, conservative mom. She's running in Delco, door to door. So we'll have a great conversation. That's this time tomorrow, so 24 hours away. And so with regard to Trump, how do you think he's doing in this? I think mostly it seems like a pretty friendly crowd, but I know that there are, they've brought in opposing, voters, women who are either unsure or like the California mom who's saying, hey, abortion for her is, I think, a top issue, as it is for many. Many women are going to vote on this very issue. So his answer is important. And I've often said, I wish I could just answer we're getting played when they talk about the national abortion ban and all of that. It's not a federal issue anymore. Even if he wanted to sign something on it, it would be smacked down to the states because the Supreme Court has made it a states' rights issue. Boom. It's no longer a federal issue. Why is that important? You know why it's important? Because if career politicians can no longer raise money on this issue that pimps women and girls, right? If career politicians cannot pimp these women and pimp this issue and fundraise off it, and it's all a big lie. We're getting played by both sides, by the way, ladies. Okay. And they don't even talk about Plan B because they're ignorant, all of them. But the bottom line on this, and don't even get me started, the bottom line on this, Republicans need to get better at talking about this very issue. But once it becomes not a moneymaker or an election winner for career politicians on both sides, guess what happens? Then career politicians or others are incentivized to actually deal with talking about women's bodies and health care, right? And then you have automatically less of these procedures which is not a spa day, people. It's not a good thing. Nobody wants that procedure, right? And so if it were rare, and if career politicians can't profit off of it, win elections off of it, make money off of it, if it's not a big money laundering operation, which it is right now, look at Planned Parenthood's PAC, and they give 100% to Democrats, and look at the money, hundreds of millions of dollars. This is a horrible issue we're being pimped and played. American women, stop it. Let it stop, so that they are incentivized to actually address the health needs of all girls and women. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox.
No, you're fine. I love it. There's a cool moment here. Well, not a cool moment, a sad moment where it's a mother of a student who shared,
Lakin Riley
attending Georgia with Lakin, and asks about that situation. And I know you were waiting for that question, so if you want to hear that's happening.
You know Tom Homan, you see Tom Homan on your show, but you see,
Mr.
he
President,
said we did the greatest job in the history of the border. And all they had to do is leave it and leave those people there.
But they didn't.
But they didn't.
All right, I want to give Nancy an opportunity because I think you really want to hear this. Nancy, please.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nancy. I'm from Milton, Georgia, originally from Ohio.
Good.
But go Dogs. Yeah. And thank you for coming. Furthering the discussion on immigrant crime, along with liberal-run cities where crime is out of control. My son is a Georgia Bulldog. He was on campus the day Lakin Riley was murdered. Terrifying for all those kids, right? I wanted to know, how quickly in a sanctuary city, like they're calling Athens, Georgia, how quickly can you remove those threats to our society so that our children can go out on a run, as they rightfully should be able to do, in a park in the daytime by themselves? It should not be like that. And also, I was wondering, I watch television all the time. I see your ads. I don't see a lot of vocalness about these sort of crimes, these hideous crimes in your promotion. So I'm wondering why that is.
Well, we are into it. First of all, we are going to end all sanctuary cities immediately. We're going to end them because they're really...
Is that an executive order you do that with?
I can do it with an executive order. I'll have to do it with an executive order. You can do it with the Aliens Act of 1798. We can do things in terms of moving people out. We can move them out of the sanctuary cities. You have some liberal, crazy people that they fight. Normally you like to understand the opponent. Like in business, you want to understand what is the opposites, why do they want this? You want to try and figure, why do they want open borders? Why do they want to do this? Why do they want sanctuary cities? Sanctuary cities are really meant for one thing, to protect criminals. That's what they become. We're going to end all sanctuary cities in the United States, and we're going to go back to normalcy. And we're going to have law and order. We're going to we have to reinvigorate our police. We have great police. They're not allowed to do their job. If they do their job with gusto, which is what we want them to be fair. And the sad thing is you'll always have a bad apple. And, hundreds and hundreds of arrests, one bad arrest, and it's on the front page of every newspaper. And these people are incredible. They want to do their job, just like the Border Patrol. They want to do their job. We're going to let them do their job. And I'm going to give them immunity. We're going to protect them because they do things and they end up getting sued. They lose their family. They lose their house.
Can I ask you
they
about
lose.
the immunity?
They lose their pension. They lose everything.
So that took a turn that I did not count on from Trump. I know that what's making headlines, I will tell you this morning on MSNBC and NBC, what are they focusing on? Is that they're saying that Trump once again doubles down on calling Democrats enemies from within. So we'll watch for that one for sure and put it in the proper context, because I know that J.D. Vance and the Trump himself has said the enemy from within, talking about people coming into this country who want to harm us, cause crime, that sort of thing. What is that term, enemy from within? What does that mean? But I know that it's one of the headlines. Here's a headline. MSNBC, Trump's military solution for enemies within is what a fascist might propose. So that's one of your headlines. Man, this is going to get, we're less than 20 days ahead. This is going to get more and more vicious. But you think about, I also don't know if they're going to talk about the storms, because right now, the latest, and it's not, I had to find this on BBC. It's a foreign entity that at least 95 people are still missing just in the state of North Carolina in the aftermath of the storms. And so you have many people still missing. You have a death toll that's rising. They're saying it's expected to reach 300 dead. And you look at it, it's devastating what people are going through. Power outages, it's a mess. And so what is happening to help our fellow Americans in 7 states down south in Florida?
So the enemy within remark comment is now happening. If you want.
Okay, let's listen.
Like Adam Schiff, I call him the enemy from
We're playing
within.
back the clip from Mario Bartiromo right now.
Kamala Harris has said you sounded unhinged, and unchecked power is in our future. What do you say about that?
I thought it was a nice presentation. I wasn't unhinged. No, you know what they are? They're a party of sound bites. Somebody asked me, can they be brought together? I never thought really, I wasn't thinking like they could, because they're very, very different. And it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick. And they're so evil. If they would spend their time trying to make America great again, it would be so easy to make this country great. But when I heard about that, they were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. But think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
All right.
They're the threat to democracy.
This is a question.
The headline after that answer, Trump escalates threats to political opponents. So that's the headline in reaction to what you just heard from Donald J. Trump. And so that's why it's important. That's why I want to play this, because you're going to hear the headlines that, he's threatening. You tell me, was that a threat? Did anybody hear him threatening political? This is a man who's been shot. I mean, no matter what you say, his ear was shot. And so I think if anybody can talk about an enemy from within, it's why also I'm telling you that if that ruling does come down 1 month from September 25th, which would make it October 25th, the appellate court ruling in New York, I'm looking at it, court observers saying this very well could be an overturned case, a slap in the face to the AG, to Tish James and company and Gomorrah and all of them. And I think that goes to what he's saying, persecution, election interference, all of that. And so that's why this all matters. I think the truth will come out, but perhaps it'll come out after the election. So, Dan, what do we need to do here?
We need to hear about a great trip you'll be taking.
Yes. Well, speaking of, when we speak of Italy, look at what's happening in Italy. They hired their great conservative president there, a woman who's very popular. And think about, this is not just happening in America with so many of these issues and people trying to change our upside down world and make it right. Sometimes do you feel like you just want to escape to someplace beautiful, someplace special? Yes, the Italian Riviera. We're off to paradise once again. This is a gastronomical event which only conservative tours can deliver. I hope you join me for 11 luxurious days with the professionals from Conservative Tours, the best, hands down, best of the best tour operator in all of Italy. A+ rating with the BBB, Portofino, Rapallo, Santa Margherita, Ligure, Tuscany, and the brilliant Cinque Terre, which is gorgeous. $53.78. And yes, I got a text. Does that include your airfare? Yes. $53.78 includes your airfare. This is amazing. Dining events. Oh, I can't wait for the dining events at wineries, Tuscany. I've never been. Visiting an authentic farm to see exactly how Parmesan cheese is crafted by hand. Just call toll free 888. I know, 733-9494. Go to conservativetours.com. Conservativetours.com. Scroll through. They have my picture there. I got to change that picture, by the way, to a picture in Italy from last spring, from that trip. This is all totally different, but we got to change the picture. You're going to see different things in a different picture, I promise soon. Hidden Italian villages that you've never seen, like Giacomo Puccini, San Gimignano, Leaning Tower of Pisa, Florence, Milan. We will conclude on the stunning lakes region with, listen to this, Bellagio, Orta, Isola Bella. Join me next spring in Italy. I'll see you in Cinque Terre. ConservativeTours.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
Gather your family and friends for the Buddy Walk and Family Fun Day on Sunday, October 20th at Lincoln Financial Field. Let's celebrate individuals with Down syndrome and have a fun morning. Proceeds benefit CHOP's Trisomy 21 program and the National Down Syndrome Society. Learn more at buddywalk.chop.edu.
The following is a paid commercial message. It's happening here in Pennsylvania. Sanctuary cities are releasing violent illegal immigrants onto our streets with the help of Bob Casey. Casey voted repeatedly to fund these dangerous sanctuary cities. Casey's policy let more illegals, more criminals loose in our neighborhoods, making our families less safe. Worse, instead of deporting criminal illegals, Casey voted to give them amnesty. Casey's amnesty would give illegal immigrants your Social Security and Medicare. That's right, Casey would give your benefits to illegals, but he'd also make you pay more. Casey voted for higher taxes on seniors' Social Security benefits. Seniors can't afford higher taxes? Bob Casey, taxing you to pay illegals. It's just another Casey con job. It's time for a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Can't wait to see the ratings from this. It's going to be huge, obviously. And then remember that Bret Baier interviews Vice President Harris. That airs this evening. That as well is pre-taped. So, you know, it's much shorter. Obviously, Trump is on, a full hour with Harris Faulkner, I believe, on Fox. So we're continuing to follow it. And, I think what strikes me right now is that for Trump, if I look at him, he's not Bill Clinton biting his lip. I feel your pain. I know. Oh, Lisa, let me hold your hand, honey. So Trump is a businessman. And he's sitting there. He's totally comfortable. He's just saying it like it is. He's not hesitant. He's not worried about what he might say. And so I think he does very well in these types of atmospheres, if you will, these platforms, because he's taking the questions. But most of them are obviously, to me, that I've heard so far, these are pretty friendly. These are Trump voters, and these are women who support him. But I saw a preview that they are expecting some tough questions from non-Trumps, from Democrat or one lady from California in particular is going to ask him about the abortion issue. Dan, do you see anything differently? I don't know if he can hear me.
I was just listening to what Harris is saying. And they just bumped back and they're getting into abortion as we speak. Here's the question, Dawn.
Hi. My name is Pamela. I am from Cumming, Georgia, right here, and originally from Danville, California. So facing the question of abortion, women are entitled to do what they want to and need to do with their bodies, including their unborn. That's on them regardless of the circumstance. Some are necessary to save their own lives. Why is the government involved in women's basic rights?
Right, good. I think it's great, and I'm glad you asked it. For 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart. Every legal scholar, the great ones, every lawyer, but the Democrats, the Republicans, the liberals, the conservatives, they wanted it brought out of the federal government and brought back to the states for a vote of the people. And like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother. Strongly believe. You have to follow your heart. Some people don't. It's a very small percentage, but you have to follow your heart. But you have the exceptions. But what we were able to do is through really the courage of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do this after years and years of turmoil. Now it's back in the states. The states are voting for it. If you take Ohio and Kansas, it was a much more liberal vote than you would have thought. I think it was 20 weeks, et cetera, a much more liberal vote. But now it's where everybody has wanted it for years, and now it's working its way out in the states. Nobody wanted it to be in the federal government. 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, they started talking about weeks and this and that. But what they wanted is they wanted it back in the states for a vote of the people, and that's where we have it. And the states are now voting for it. And honestly, some of them are going much more liberal, like in Ohio. I would have thought it might be a little bit different. And some of them are not, but it's going to be redone. It's going to be redone. You end up with a vote of the people. And some of them, I agree, they're too tough. And those are going to be redone because already there's a movement in those states, I know exactly what you're talking about, to redo it. It's back in the states where they can have the vote of the people. It's exactly where they want to be. Remember this issue has torn this country apart for 52 years. So we got it back in the states. We have a vote of the people, and it's working its way through the system. And ultimately, it's going to be the right thing. And IVF, you had mentioned before,
right,
IVF.
Let's get this question, because I believe that's what this is about.
Oh, I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't hear that
Listen.
every day.
I'm the father of IVF, so I want to hear this question.
I'm the father of
Hi,
IVF.
President Trump.
Hi.
Welcome back to Georgia. We are so happy that you're here. We're all very blessed to be here with you, and thank you for taking our questions. So I'm the mother of 3 small children, and I have many friends that have struggled with fertility issues over the years while trying to grow their families. And while they're pro-life, they're very concerned that the abortion bans will affect their ability to access IVF and other fertility treatments. So although abortion does lie with the states, what is your stance on that, and what would you say to those women?
So I got a call from Katie Britt, a young, just a fantastically attractive person from Alabama. She's a senator. And she called me up like emergency, because an Alabama judge had ruled that the IVF clinics were illegal and they have to be closed down. A judge ruled. And she said, friends of mine came up to me and they were so angry. I didn't even know they were going, it's fertilization. I didn't know they were even involved in it. Nobody talks about it. They don't talk about it. But now that they can't do it, she said, I was attacked. In a certain way, I was attacked. And I said, explain IVF very quickly. And within about 2 minutes, I understood it. I said, no, we're totally in favor of IVF. I came out with a statement within an hour, a really powerful statement with some experts, really powerful. And we went totally in favor, the Republican Party, the whole party. Alabama legislature, a day later, overturned, meaning approved it, overturned, the judge essentially approved it. And we really are the party for IVF. We want fertilization, and it's all the way. And the Democrats tried to attack us on it, and we're out there on IVF even more than them. So we're totally in favor of it.
So the comment that's making headline, I'm the father of IVF, but I think for Republicans, this certainly is a winning vote, in a national election. However, many pro-life Catholics are not happy with him for saying just that about IVF. So we'll have to end it there as we head over to the Dom Giordano show. But to me, I think he's done well. But did he win anybody new? That's the real question here. Is he winning over somebody new who had a question? I'm not really sure that he did. I think these were Georgia women who already were going to vote for him, or at least the vast majority of them. So I don't know if he won anybody over. But the fact that he can, for an hour or so, chat in a huge room in a venue full of women voters and have this conversation, and he's a professional businessman, he's respectful, he's talking about the issues. So I think on that one, I'll say, okay, it's a win. We'll see what Dom Giordano thinks. And Dom Giordano has reaction from, well, at least one person with the last name Trump, I do believe.
Well, we'll see if Don can pop on. No, yes, that's it. Eric Trump at 12:30 today, Don. And I want to go, J.D. Vance yesterday, this guy from CBS 3, jumps into the ring saying there's no evidence of people that are here illegally voting when he asked him a question about, will you certify the election if you lose? David Muir did it in this when I was watching him in the spin room. Now the FBI says crime is up 4.5 points, not down 2. Will David Muir issue an apology tonight?
Yes, they should, Dom. Good
Absolutely.
idea. Listen to Dom Giordano, would you? David Muir. Dom is great. Dom show coming up. Can't wait to hear you talk to Eric Trump and maybe his take on all of this today. Big day. Dom's up now.